killer intro is the difference between a viewer staying for more than 30 seconds or leaving in less than 3. But I've studied the intros of top creators and turned hundreds of hours of notes into a 4-part system to help you create irresistible intros. So listen carefully to what I'm about to show you, because it could help your next video, hang on, blow up. Even if you've never made a video before. Now we'll understand exactly what makes an intro irresistible, how to make one for yourself, and keep more people watching until the end. But the thing is, you could have the most awesome intro ever with all these fancy edits and cuts, but the most important aspect of your intro actually begins even before someone clicks your video. Most of us make the same mistake. We'll come up with an idea, go ahead and make a video about it, but when it comes to uploading the video, we sit there and think, what should I call the video? Or what should the thumbnail be? Then we rush it and hit publish. A lot of the time people have an awesome video, but it's actually the packaging that's stopping the views. A tiny tweak to the thumbnail or title could be the one thing that blows up your YouTube channel. Let's listen to what a guy called Chucky has to say about this. No, not the freaky doll, but Mr. Beast thumbnail strategist, who's responsible for getting Mr. Beast hundreds of millions of views by creating highly clickable thumbnails.
A lot of times someone might have a banger video, but then their packaging just doesn't appeal to the largest audience. And because of that, they don't get a lot of views. And then if they update that packaging and then it does really well, it finds the right audience.
When you make a video, you know how good it is because of all the time and effort you've put into it. But viewers don't, because they only see your 3 T's, your thumbnail, title and topic. To make your video click-worthy, you can create curiosity gaps. These gaps, which I'll explain later, are basically the difference between not knowing something and knowing something. But the more curiosity you create with your 3 T's, the better. You want to be able to make people so curious about your video that they have no option but to click on it and get those curiosity gaps answered. Even Mr. Beast said thumbnails play a vital role in growing a YouTube channel.
You should ask me what helps us make the best videos possible. That's the only question you should ask me. Subscribers don't matter. Views don't matter. I mean, they do, but all that comes. Everything you want as a creator comes from making the best videos possible. And thumbnails. But it's easier to make thumbnails.
Alright, so we've learnt the importance of the 3 T's, the thumbnail, title and topic. But now we're going to look at the intro itself and how to create an intro that keeps people watching. And we'll look at something that's going to help you stand out no matter what niche you're in. What do you notice about the first few seconds of these videos?
You guys want to see the world's longest rocket football catch? Cool, we'll show you. Here we go! Hello there.
My name's Davey, and this is my story, how I went from $500 to 500 million.
The story that the thumbnail told is continued in the opening seconds of the intro. This is an important way to confirm the click and basically tell the viewer that they're in the right place. And there are a few ways to do this, but here are the top 3. Firstly, you can match the colour, and this is basically where you match the 3 main colours from your thumbnail. Secondly, you can match the shot. Your opening shot matches the contents of the thumbnail. Thirdly, you match the title, and this is where you just say your title in your opening line.
I made my first million at the age of 26, but if I'd followed the advice that I'm going to share in this video, I probably would have gotten there a lot sooner.
But all of these creators have something in common with their intros. They stand out with a unique first frame. So when creating your thumbnail, think of how you can continue the story with a strong first and 5. This is why it's important to create your thumbnail and title before starting your video. The main mission of your intro is to confirm the viewer's click. You basically want to show viewers that your thumbnail and title aren't clickbait and that you'll deliver on what you promised. And what better way to do this than to actually show the thing you're talking about? When Mike Shake talked about the 92 skills that he learned in 2 years, in his opening shot, he wasn't just sat at a chair talking to camera, but he actually displayed some B-roll to back up what he was saying. Sorry, yeah, B-roll is basically extra footage that you can use to provide more context and visual interest to help tell a story. But you probably knew that already. But how often do you think about using sound in your intro to keep people watching? Alright, I want to have a bit of fun. Let's use some different music over the intros that we've been analysing so far.
You guys want to see the world's longest rocket football catch? Cool, we'll show you. Here we go!
Or this.
I made my first million at the age of 26, but if I'd followed the advice that I'm going to share in this video, I probably would have gotten there a lot sooner.
Or this. It's all about finding the right music for the right emotion. If you create any emotional disconnect with the viewer by using the wrong type of music, then they feel lost, as though they aren't in the right place. Almost as if you walked into a fancy restaurant and as soon as you sat down for your meal, they started blaring out screaming. Which brings me on to sound effects. You want to know the main reason for sound effects? While they re-engage people's attention, it's mostly about making people feel like they're in the thing they're watching. Sound effects immerse people into another world. You can use sound effects in your intro to engage and draw people into your video straight away. Make them feel like they're coming along for the ride. But that's when we come across one tiny problem, and I've seen many YouTube videos that completely ignore it and make people completely scroll past the video. If you've ever stopped on a YouTube video on your phone or hovered over a thumbnail with your mouse, you'll know that YouTube has this feature where a video starts playing. But let's stop and think about it for a second. Why do you pause over the video? You probably want to see whether the video is worth watching based on the first few seconds of the video. You're judging how the video looks, whether it matches the thumbnail and title, and whether it's a video you'll enjoy based on the style. But that's why it's important to start implementing what we've learned so far. First 5 seconds should confirm the click, have a unique opening shot that interests people and makes you stand out, display what you say with B-roll. But you can also do something else in the intro, and these high performing videos show us exactly what those things are. They tell the story without sound, and they use text to show what's being said. Although captions automatically pop up in the autoplay feature, it might be worth testing to see whether using text on screen increases the click-through rate of your videos. It's not a necessity, but the important thing we need to remember is that telling the story without sound in your intros is as important, if not more important, than the sound you use in your intros. You could think of your intro or your first few seconds as a moving thumbnail. But to recap, so far you've learned how to create a killer intro with the 3 T's, first frame and first 5 seconds, what I like to call first and 5, match colour, shot and title, unique first frame, which helps make it interesting and helps you to stand out, say and display with B-roll, choosing the right music, the importance of sound effects, and optimising your intros for autoplay. Which takes us onto the writing and what to actually say in your intros. We can split the intro into 3 sections, the hook, the context and the setup. The goal with what we say in the intro is to basically be like, hey, you're in the right place and this is why you should stay. It's a section where you lay out the purpose for the video. But once you think about it, the purpose for every single YouTube video is to solve a problem. Whether that's showing how you've solved a problem or how someone else has solved a problem. But the most important problem that is being solved is the viewers. But this is important because if you can't show that you can solve the viewer's problem, then they're not going to watch the video. Mr. Beast shows how characters, whether it's him or other people, solve problems in his videos. For example, like $10,000 every single day that you survive in the wilderness, or face your biggest fear to win $800,000, or I saved 100 dogs from dying. But the heart of these videos is still to solve a problem for the viewer. They want a feeling of escape. They need something exciting to watch. They want to feel good by watching someone else do good. But once we boil it all down, the problem that is being solved is closing the curiosity gap. But not everyone knows they have a problem until they're told they have a problem. Before I saw these videos, I wasn't thinking I want to see how someone survives in the wilderness, or I want to see if someone can win $800,000 for facing their biggest fear, or I want to see 100 dogs being saved from dying. You have to create a problem in the viewer's head to get them to watch the video. All good writing starts with a problem. When you go to the doctors, you go because something feels slightly off, and you don't know what it is. But they diagnose the problem and reassure you they can help you solve it. That's what your job is in the intro. Your potential audience is scrolling YouTube with an undiagnosed problem. And the most common problem on YouTube is that people need something to watch, but they don't know what. Until your 3 T's grab their attention and creates a problem or a curiosity gap that needs answering in their head. But your hook must amplify and exaggerate the problem, otherwise your viewer won't be interested and they won't watch your video. And I found there are 3 top ways that you can hook people in using something I like to call the SQS hook system. S. Story. You could drop the viewer straight in the middle of the story and add some stakes and then pull them right back to the start. You want to drop them into a moment that would be exciting for your audience. But guess what? This causes a problem for the viewer too. They don't know the ending of the story or the journey towards the ending, so they have to watch your video to find out what happens. Q. Question. You can ask a question that the viewer wants to know the answer to. This doesn't have to be something that's on the viewer's mind right now, it could just be something that makes them open a curiosity gap. Maybe like, do you actually know what the moon is made of? Or something like, do you know how your eye sees colour? This creates a problem for the viewer. They don't know what the answer to the question is, so they have to watch the rest of the video to find out. S. Statement. You could also say a strong statement. The problem that this creates for the viewer is that they now have a statement that they don't have enough information on to agree or disagree on, so they have to watch the video to find out more. Did you spot the common theme? You don't have to address the problem head on, although this works, but you can just create a problem by using a story, question or statement hook. But the solution to the problem can be exaggerated and sold in the setup. Straight after the hook, we move into the section that will provide the context that keeps people watching. This is the section where you can show them what's at stake if they don't watch your video. Maybe that's the lessons the viewer's going to learn, or the cool things that they're going to miss out on. You can also tease the viewers into what's coming up. You can make the viewers even more curious in the setup with questions and curiosity gaps. You can also explain how you're going to solve the problem with a system or process that you've created, and you could create anticipation by blurring out the upcoming lessons. So now you know how to use the SQS hook system and exaggerate the problem enough in the setup to get them to keep watching. But did you see what we didn't do? We haven't started the video with
"Hello and welcome to my channel where I make videos about this and talk about myself every time I make an intro, and forget this video is actually about you."
That just isn't going to cut it. But now you know how to create a hook and setup that makes it all about the viewer. So to recap, you start by creating a problem, explain how you're going to solve that problem, tease what's coming up and how it's going to solve the problem. But before we dive deeper into the psychology of an intro, it's probably worth mentioning that I've made a free guide that you can access below. It's got everything that I've covered in this video with its own checklists, and it's laid out in a way that's easy for you to read. You can find it linked in the description below. Alright, let's take a look at the more psychological elements of an intro. Who would you more likely listen to? Person 1. I found out something the other day. Person 2. I've spent hours studying this awesome thing. Can I share it with you? Studies have shown that the more time, money and effort someone puts into something, the more likely you are to value that thing that they produce. One of Mr. Beast's first viral videos was of him cutting a table in half with a plastic knife. He said he bought a table once and spent the entire weekend cutting a table in half with only plastic knives. Now personally, I won't do this myself, but that's the whole point. It did something that no one else would do, that it makes you appreciate the effort and want to watch the process and the outcome. Now you don't have to go to IKEA to buy a table that you're cutting off for people to watch your videos. It can be something as simple as this. I spent the past week studying how to X so that you can Y. But one of the best ways to leverage input bias is by putting most of your editing efforts into the intro of your video. This could look like spending 80% of your editing time on the intro. Say you had 5 hours to edit a video, then spend 4 hours on the intro. In my previous video, these first 2 seconds took me 2 hours to create. I purposely spent more time on this intro more than any other intro that I've ever done, but it led to one of my best retention rates yet. Put lots of effort into how you edit your intro. This makes people think, whoa, they spent a lot of time and effort on this video. It seems like they care about it. I need to keep watching. This helps you give people a reason to stick around. Another psychological hack that I want to share with you, and this is mainly for people that are helping other people improve at a particular skill or subject on YouTube, is that you want to get on their level. You want to make the viewer realise that you've been where they are right now. It makes the viewer feel like you can help them, because they want to get to where you are right now. They want to overcome the obstacle just like you did. Curiosity gaps also play a huge psychological role in a YouTube intro. The more curiosity gaps that you can create, the better. And I tend to do this in my setup section. Say I was teaching someone how to record a video on their iPhone. I'd identify the top potential questions or pain points that viewers are likely to have in relation to my 3 T's. These could be that they struggle to get high quality video, they can't get a voice recording to sound good, or they don't have the budget for expensive gear. Then I'd show that my video is going to help answer those pain points or questions that they've got through the hook and the setup in my video. It could sound something like this. So in this video, we'll cover how to shoot high quality videos on your phone, how to get your voice sounding professional, and how to get awesome lighting without having to spend a penny. This is how you can make the viewer feel like they're in the right place with your intro, but this can take a lot of time and practice. So it's important to just focus on improving one thing at a time, otherwise you'll get overwhelmed. Like thumbnails, and they're actually a great place to start, because once you start improving your thumbnails, you'll get more views in general. Because the better your packaging, like you've learned in this video, the more people are likely to click. And you can improve your thumbnail game right away by checking out this video where I break down the different psychological elements that top creators use to create thumbnails that are irresistible to click. I bet you didn't see that one coming.